Hi everyone, this is the disembodied voice of Patrick Galactic. Are you an artist? Do you have friends who are? Then Weird at Night wants to show your work. We feature music, poetry, painting, dance, drag, comedy, sketch, short films, animation, literature, and much more. Yeah, I just read the graphic, but I also wrote the graphic, so it's only kind of cheating. Do you want to be a character on Weird at Night? You absolutely can. Whether you want to make something for the show or have something specific you'd like us to air, you can do it by either emailing us at weirdatnight@gmail.com, or the much cooler option is to join our Discord server, send me a friend request, and then send me a DM. Weird at Night is a place of celebration and collaboration. We're always looking for new and fresh things for the show. If you have an idea you want help developing, we're down to help. Art is the antidote. Attack with love. I'll see you in a few minutes.
I'm the Pink Cloud. I'm a mythical creature here in the Waniverse with my friends, Booger Bitch Fantasia Man and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I hated all humans and lived a life of substance abuse and self-loathing. But I discovered friendship and now I feel a lot better. Welcome to Weird at Night! This is the pre-show. The live show will begin at 10 p.m. as our guide, Patrick Galactic, steers us on a course to the Artmosphere. Weird at Night is a humor-based community art share stream. The Waniverse is a land of safe but challenging fantasy. We get real stupid, and oftentimes we do them at the same time. We're interactive. If you got something to say, at Weird at Night in the chat, and we'll read your comments, as long as they aren't hateful piece of shit kind of stuff, and at least somewhat related to the show. This is a place of art, acceptance, of tolerance, and understanding. Misogyny, racism, homophobia, transphobia, and all other xenophobic ideologies are not welcome here. But if you ain't dumb like that, welcome to the Artstravaganza! Starting at 10 p.m.
What fire springs forth? What bile does bubble? The black moon swings, and the sky stirs trouble. By violent ends, we kill the lights. Through the shadows, madness beckons. Weird at night.
Freed from the shackles of time and space, we present Weird at Night!
Welcome, seedlings of the grand dark design. It is I, your guide, Patrick Galactic, here to lead you on a quintessential journey through space, through art, time, music, horrors, and probably some funny stuff too. It is the week of Halloween, and we celebrate tonight by exploring the tender tendrils of torturous tortures. Yes! But even the ghoulish and ghastly must be accompanied by our rituals, and we set forth in our rituals right now. Join me in a rounded and roundabout rendition of the Song of the Cosmos. Are we ready? The singing leaves me pleased, dark lovelies. Well done, well done. Now that our Wanaverse is properly plucked, we must ask ourselves, how does one pluck a ploink? How does one pluck a ploink? Confused? Fantastic!
Hey, you! You are my juicy, good for bloody red goodness, don't you? Yes, some come to flavor. Ploink. Ploink, the number one choice of cult leader since 1978. Give us a die, won't you?
Now gather your hands together for the mysterious, multi-frame mindfuckery of Madeline Williams, animator extraordinaire. We spoke several episodes back of the grandly fraudulent Kool-Aid Man. Madsy put terror into action and created something truly divine. Smash those links dropped in our fair chat. But this is no chatting matter, evil seedlings. This is Weird at Night. We must turn the evil screws of conscience and skullduggery. Indeed, I need you to turn rationality off and turn what the fuck to 11, because this cosmic calamity is no accident, cow person. It's an extravaganza of galactic proportion. Weird at Night is a twice-weekly art voyage through the stars. We love music. We love surreal comedy. Weird at Night is like a smoky patchwork quilt with Twilight Zone, 90s cable access, Pee-wee's Playhouse, and Reading Rainbow, all stitched in. We're astonishingly wholesome for people who say, fuck, as often as we do here. More importantly than all of that, We're a showmunity. The chat is 100% where it's at. A lot of the stuff we'll be showing tonight was made by people hanging out in the chat, so give thanks to Queen Mosa, because you're chatting amongst royalty. If you've watched Wit at Night for a while, you know damn well that the Queen is the ultimate ruler of this reality. It ain't a joke, Jimmy Joe. Hell no. Go to the Queen's Bandcamp. Yes, that's correct. The greatest ruler of the Waniverse is also Seattle, one of Seattle's finest rappers. Go to the Queen's Bandcamp and pay tribute. Otherwise, the results may not amuse you. And don't fear the darkness, darling. We're weird. It's night, and you're in the right place. Respect for each other, and the flow of the show is essential. Distractors, spammers, you'll be ejected forcefully. Give us a follow, and at some point in the night, I'm going to sing you a little tune and put your name in the pretty lights on this screen. If you subscribe, which is so helpful to us, I will put everything down, grab my guitar, and write you a 20-second song on the spot. All right, let the extravaganza begin. Well, last episode, we joined our fine foils, Steve Germany and Dartone III, on an adventure through Noir Land that seemed to imply, much as it pains me, lovelies, imply that Dartone III's wild accusations about space raccoons had more truth to it than any words from the mouths of saviors and saints. It pains me to admit, but Dartone, through sheer idiocy, devilish lies, and accusations, may in fact be correct. Tune in this Saturday at 10 p.m. to find out. But we have so many adventures left to have in this simple hour. So adventure we shall! Most of us have probably at some point seen The Exorcist and its most deliciously unholy apparitions of devilish devourance of the human soul. But what would one do if The Exorcist was reimagined as a light, romantic comedy? Let's find out.
Don't want me to play, huh?
Captain Howdy said no.
Who's Captain Howdy?
I need reassignment, Tom.
You're the best we've got.
I think I've lost my faith.
Gonna marry him, aren't you?
Oh!
I'm a friend of your mother's. I'd like to help you.
Did you do that?
It is nothing less than an absolute joy to watch the smiling faces of those one might love descend into the boo-boo faces of madness, yes. Personally, I always thought of The Exorcist as a bit of a light comedy, but adding love to it really boils the Dark Master's water, if you know what I mean. But it is time now. Art, music, murder. In no particular order, we must propel the zombified elegance of evil forward. And to do that, I need everyone watching on every platform to ask me a weird question. Anything you think would be a difficult question to answer, perhaps? Would be funny, whatever you think weird is. Just at me in the chat, and I'll answer when we have at least 3. We have Roger Corman and Vincent Price lollygagging about. We'll learn about the origins of the horror genre, hear from the composer of Tremendously Evil and Delicious Delights, and much more. But first, we are visited by one most monstrous, the indelible Terry Monstrosity.
It's almost like a CDR. They copy out of me, my niggas really GTR and auto pop it in the 3. I had to drop into the C. Line up all my shit in order, elemental P. Alphabetic when they come to wrecking hell if you gon' see. Spells continue casting nigga when the bells gon' ring. Haphazard turn disasters bigger when you merge your teams. It's a murder scene when I see burgers turning king. I'ma further burn the sheen into your eyes until you blind to what you didn't mean. Silence gets stretched into lies like limousines. No structural integrity in times you finna need it. The love divided that you hide behind has been retreated. Reason until your dying day to be a phoenix. Pieces up to the downs you defeated. I'm eking the climb to the top and be a beacon. Hill to hill, valley of the real where the beast is. Eating, picking up the pieces. Writing new words ain't a motherfucking thesis.
What finer monster to unleash on a ravaged public such as ours? My stars and garters. We have some questions to answer. Yes, lovelies. Yes. The Halloween week is upon us, and we have some questions from our dear readership. Blazing Space asks, what is your Halloween accent based in? Halloween accent. Accent. What are we talking about here? I assume you are just referring to my speaking voice, which I find to be delightful. Vincent Price is what I would say. Blazing Space. Ash Maddie, do you think you'll be able to keep talking in that Halloween accent all show? Halloween accent. It's a very, very strange and curious group tonight, my deadlies. We have so much horror to consume. That is the only reason I talk this way. Alex FV, if Michael Myers gets burnt up every movie, then why doesn't Gwen Stefani retain any of her old coolness? She's marrying that chap, the Blake somebody? No, she'll never be cool again. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, Alex. Let it go. Let Gwen Stefani's coolness go. Because there's none of it left. Thank you for all of your comments and questions, my deadlies. Love it! Love seeing how everyone's minds work. It's fun. Now we turn from the inimitable questions that cannot be answered to the hell of being. Killer Workout has enraptured audiences and listeners for nearly a decade with their infectious melodies and insanely danceable rhythms. But did you know that they too love horrors? Yes, horrors! Well, they do. And tonight, we present a video dropped a few years back. This is called Sister. Enjoy.
Always in a hurry. Conversation stops. I fear I'm growing colder, and time is almost lost.
a fantastic projection of light and sound, my evil seeds! Yes, I love a good comedy. The hilarity of that young woman's horror was simply delicious. We do have some more questions that I didn't quite get to in my excitement to kick off the festivities of Halloween. So I was asked by Madsy and the End Times, what is my favorite garnishes with Hufu? If you aren't familiar with Hufu, it is simply tofu designed to taste like human flesh. Yes, even cannibals need vegan alternatives, my friends. What are my favorite garnishes? Maybe a toenail? Maybe a little salamander to go with my Hufu? Yes, I'm not eating real human flesh, but real salamanders are required. All right. Naomi Baomi Faomi asks, how would the unkind one, Vincent Price, talk if he was hosting The Price is Right? And I say it would sound something to the effect of, and who guessed the lowest price, the closest price of this laundry detergent? It's you, Brenda. Come right up and spin this wheel. Make the deal with the devil. You'll never regret it. That's something close to what I imagined it would have sounded like. And speaking of delicious horror, horror itself has transcended mediums and messengers to persist throughout the existence of human history. But it was its arrival in film that truly catapulted horror to a public consciousness never previously seen. But we are going to see it in every bit of its delicious detail right now. And that's all there is to it. Behold.
In 1896, Georges Méliès, the so-called French master of illusion, created a film titled The Devil's Castle, also known as The Haunted Castle in the United States. The short 3-minute film opens up with a bat circling around a creepy room in a castle. It is in this silent film that we're greeted with a skeleton and then the devil himself. These simple haunting figures would later appear in an outstanding amount of times in the future history of the genre. The genre, of course, being horror. What I just showed you is widely considered as the first horror movie, a genre that shifts into a new era with each decade. It has formed into many subgenres within itself. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, horror films were inspired by Gothic horror, a genre told in many novels throughout the second millennium by famous authors such as Robert Stevenson, Mary Shelley, and the American legend himself, Edgar Allan Poe. These Gothic stories explored haunted castles with classic creepy fall scenery that translated into the early horror classics. Crossing over into the early 1910s silent era, the original Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and werewolf films were released. These classics would eventually be remade again in the future decades. Horror films were very well defined all across Europe, as seen in Dante's Inferno from Italy, exploring hell, purgatory, and heaven itself. However, in 1914, something even more terrifying affected Europe, and that was the outbreak of the First Great War. Following the epidemic and loss of 14 million lives, troops across the earth came back to their home countries after experiencing true horror and death. Filmmakers wanted to get away, and citizens in Germany needed to get away desperately due to an embarrassing loss to the Triple Entente in 1918. German films were based off of the supernatural. The 1920s turned to be Germany's era of expressionism, that was a type of cinema of intense symbolism and stylized sets. In the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, shadows were painted on sets and had unorthodox perspective shots. This type of filmmaking led to an inspired piece known as Nosferatu, said by journalists at the time to be a genuinely frightening film to cause nightmares. There's a reason why it's called German Expressionism. Following World War I, Germany was isolated as a country from the rest of the globe. They were in debt to countries, and the fragile Weimar Republic was about to fall apart. The war operations of the Treaty of Versailles led to high inflation across the country, and one of the only places of market success was in film. In 1925, the future vice president known as Charles Dawes offered a plan to Germany to try and stabilize the country's economy via loans and other agreements. Via the plan, however, the amount of German film exports decreased, leading to a crippling economy for films in Germany. Companies known as MGM and Paramount came in to rescue the failing companies by lending them money, in return for collaboration rights of German directors and writers. Germans migrated to Hollywood in the mid-1920s for work in studios, and even well into the early 1930s, but some would say that was for another reason. Also in the decade of the 20s, another soon-to-be giant would step in to produce films of horror. Their films would be based off of human deformities. This would lead to The Hunchback of Notre Dame and The Phantom of the Opera, two silent films that had a key star known as Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces. A man who had his own type of casting magic, who didn't have dialogue, but just used his facial expressions for a horrifying performance. Chaney would die in 1930, just as the Universal Monster series was about to start. The next decade would lead to another seismic shift within the horror genre.
What wicked fantasies, am I right, my satanic seed? The imagined is always so much more deadly than the uninspired. But it's time to hold our collective butts and pray to the unkind one for forgiveness. Why, you say? Because I say so. Also, Not a Mucho Newsy News is here, and they've got some fantastically fantastic music shares to wet your dry tears. Tune in, Deadlies. Tune in. Nina?
Hey everyone, this is Nina Wasson-Carey bringing to you Not a Mucho Newsy News That's New. Not a Mucho is 100% volunteer-driven, supporting independent music and entertainment since the late 90s. Tonight, we've got some fresh picks of new music brought to you by Not a Mucho founder, Matt Ashburn. For each of these artists, we're going to drop the links in the chat. What we want you to do is support those artists directly. Click on those links, follow, check out their music, download it, add it to your playlist. This is Nina Wasson-Carey, and you are watching Weird at Night.
I like to receive it, but I don't want to give it up. I'll set the roof on fire before I cut my sleeves up. Maybe tell them that I tripped off a cliff. Say I got a couple kids at the crib, whatever it is. I wish that I just could. I wish if I could just hold it, maybe even control.
I hadn't seen you since the 5th grade. Now you're 19 and you're 5'8". He said, honey, you sure look great. Do you get the checks I send on your birthday? I would kill him if you let me. I would kill him.
We are the majority, tired of living on our knees. Might not come to us today. We plant these seeds organically. When it's time to harvest crop, take back what you stole and lock you up. Take back what you stole and lock you up. Take back what you stole and lock you up.
Another fantastic round of musical multiplicity. If you enjoy these sounds, follow Not a Mucho on Twitter. They share more about the artists featured throughout the week. Just a quick reminder that myself and Not a Mucho editor Matt Ashworth host a live podcast each and every week on the Stereo app at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Every week, we ask a question and spend an hour talking about it with each other, with our callers, and we want you to be one of those callers. Click the link we're dropping now and give us a follow to be notified every time we're live. This week, we ask, Halloween, love it or hate it? Do you dress up like a little baby and ask your neighbors for delicate delights? Or do you say Beelzebub 5 times in a Mia and hope the neighborhood is set to flame? We wish to know. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. on the Stereo app. We are positively soaring on the wings of gargoyles, my loves. We shall quickly thank our new sponsor for the financial contribution of our continued sustenance. Now. Yes, thank you to the fine people at Thrink, clearly encouraging the youth in the right directions. If you are mystified as to who made that wonderful art, it was created by none other than Madeline Williams, who is prominently and proudly featured in the Weird at Night, the Shop of Juan. If you go to our artist studio, you can find Madsy and the End Times merch for the various commercials they have made for Weird at Night. So make sure you go there, show your support. The money given to any of the artists featured in the artist studio goes directly to them. No profits are held by Weird at Night. Make sure to show your support. Excellent. And as my accent becomes a little shakier, a little less dialed in, shall we say, I will use this time to try and regain it. Damn it. I was asked a few more questions that I did not yet answer. Daltone III asked, Weird at Night, would you rather fight ghosts or werewolves? I know you're not afraid of vampires, since you already broke a vampire's shoulder. Well, Daltone, that's an excellent question, but the truth of it is, I fear none of them. Would I rather fight a werewolf or a ghost? I would rather fight neither. We're good friends, quite bonded, in fact. They are some of my best friends, the werewolves and the ghosts. So I would not fight any of them. Thank you for your question. Euphony of the Month asks, Weird at Night, what does the color purple smell like? I'm glad you asked. Do not smell the color purple. Do not smell it from close range. It has annihilated the minds of many. Purple is the color of evil. Whether you've been told or not, purple is an evil color. Do not smell it. You might die. That is just simple truths, my friend. Simple truths. Blazing Space asks, does Jack Panda haunt you? Jack? No, I'm not worried about any Jack Panda. That was so long ago, Blazing Space. Blazing Space then asks, does Sam Circle haunt you? Blazing, I am a messenger of the unkind one. I can't be haunted. Okay, on to other things. Does the booger bitch Fantasia Man haunt you? Oh wait, he is comfortable in the Everglades sending telegrams. Yes, booger bitch Fantasia Man seems seems to be enjoying themselves quite a lot in the trash forest with the Stone Cold Steve Austin in the pink cloud, so I don't believe that we'll have any trouble there. Euphony, you are welcome for the warning. Do not smell the color purple too close. You could die, as I said. Simple reminder, my lovelies, to follow the channel, follow us, tell Twitch we're on the come up. and help us boost us evil plans in their great unwashed algorithm. And a reminder as well to join our Discord server. We stay in touch throughout the week on Discord, and we have a post-show Discord chat wherein we communicate with each other in a robust fashion, where we sometimes get real shouty and we shout all over each other, and then we all realize we cannot understand what we're saying, and we all quiet down at the same time, and then there's an awkward pause before someone regains control and begins talking again. It's a great time. It's very similar to hanging out in a green room after a fantastic musical performance, let's say. And lastly, are you an artist? Because if you are, Weird at Night is looking for you. Do you make music? Are you a poet, a painter, dancer, drag artist, comedy, sketch comedy, short film, animation, or literature? Well, you can submit to us via email or via our Discord. Email us at weirdetnight@gmail.com or join our Discord by visiting bit.ly/WAN, W-A-N, Discord, D-I-S-C-O-R-D. All one word. If you know somebody who would be a good fit, send them our way. If you join our Discord, simply join it, send me a friend request, and then we can DM each other. And I believe that is the modern term the kids love so much. So, coming up, there's so much more to reveal, my deadlies. So much. We'll hear about the sounds of horror. We'll snack on the grooves of Not For Sale. And we pay homage to the unkind one himself, Vincent Price, and his collaborator, Roger Corman. But at this moment, this juncture of our wicked incantation, we travel to the realm of Noirland to recap all of the adventures of our finely finked team of tulip heads, Steve Germany and Dartone III. Behold.
There is a place, deep in the Waniverse, a place where mystery clings to you, like the stench of cigarettes, like the stench of this city of enigmas, the city of Noirland. It was a dark and stormy night, in a city where scenic beauty and seedy underbellies go hand in hand like mysteries found and unsolved. The streets of Noirland bleed monochromatic tones of black, white, and gray, but never before had there been such a colorful duo in this mysterious hellscape. A shoe-dick determined to prove himself as a detective, and a cult leader who just wants to find his right shoe. We learned in episode 2 that the Goblin Bird had Dartone's missing shoe, but did not want to give it back. Then last week, in episode 4, our heroes stumbled upon more evidence left behind by the Goblin Bird. Dartone's shoe print, and a book about transmutation, or as Steve Germany would call it, transmutation. Steve's quest to find Mandolin Ravage continues. Mandolin, the missing mad scientist whose parents died in a smog accident, and the last we saw was working on a presentation for the palace. Did Mandolin successfully test Utopion? And what was this test subject? What is their connection to the homunculus creature who flaps at the center of this entire case? The Goblin Bird. Last seen dropping off Dartone's shoe with an old friend. Could the Goblin Bird's theory be correct? Was Dartone's shoe magically charged in the Rakuanon battle with Blazing Space? The very event which banned Dartone to Noirland in the first place. In episode 3, Dartone wandered alone into a garbage dump and was confronted by a gang of raccoons. Last week, the raccoons were following the Goblin Bird and now say they are preparing for space travel. Could it be that this failed cult leader, this false modest fantasy man, was actually right about the space raccoons from Mars? Shoe Detective Steve Germany seems to be gaining confidence with each new clue. What new revelation may fly around the bend? Could it be that these two unlikely heroes actually saved the day and solved the case of the Goblin Bird? I don't think so. But what do I know? I'm just a dirty dog detective in a mysterious cinematic city hosting a true crime radio show. I am Detective McGruff, and these are the adventures of Steve Germany and Dartone III in Noirland.
Yes, the adventures of Steve Germany and Dartone III in New Orleans returns to Weird at Night this Saturday at 10 p.m. Pacific. Each and every Saturday, we unleash a new episode of New Orleans. So don't miss this one, because I believe there's some very, very interesting developments. Yes, and if you were moved to support Steve Germany and Dartone's adventures, you could do so by going to the shopofwan.com. That's shopofwan.com. You could buy a Dartone III shirt that says humble as fuck. You could buy a Steve Germany and Dartone III mug. You could buy a Steve Germany t-shirt. No matter your style, the Shop of Wands got you covered. And this Saturday, our Goblin Bird, our climate scientist, shoe dick, cult leader, idiot, and pack of raccoons are building to a head, a big head of trouble. What may happen? Who else may appear? There are many in the realm of New Orleans. It could be anyone, much less a monster and a queen. Tune in this. I told you, my deadlies, it was no accident that this very video would be played on this very evening. Did you see the kitty tail? The kitty tail? The kitty tail? Yes, I sure did. A delight. But from delight, we must remain steadfast in our grooves as well. And no groove is finer than those created by Not For Sale. Yes, a fantastic assortment of instrumental melody and infectious groove. I believe it's dope. Is that what the children call it? Yes, yes. But this is no childish matter, seedlings. We must now turn to pay tribute. But to whom? For what? Legendary film director Roger Corman in the 1960s formed a thoroughly wicked partnership with the unkind one, Vincent Price, to make a number of movies based on the works of whom I call the OG of evil, Edgar Allan Poe. Their works were widely celebrated as a triumph of style, camp, and horror. We first listened to Corman, who went on to direct similarly evil comedies like Silence of the Lambs, talk about Poe's writings and how he attempted to inhabit it.
My theory was that if Poe was working with the unconscious mind, the unconscious is not really aware of the outside world. The outside world gives us stimuli through our eyes, our ears, our nose, even taste, and transmits this stimuli to the unconscious mind, which is only aware of the information given to it and is not aware of the outside world. So I felt I wanted to create a dreamlike interior world. For that reason, I shot all of the pictures on a sound stage where I had full control of what I was doing. I very seldom went outside. Occasionally, the story demanded that I have something outside, and occasionally I felt I wanted to open up the picture. And when I did that, I deliberately went to places that were more or less unreal. For instance, the opening of The Fall of the House of Usher is when the young man rides up on a horse to the house. before we started shooting, there was a forest fire in the Hollywood Hills, and a large area was burned out and blackened. I quickly put together, I think, a 3-man crew of a cameraman, a gaffer, whatever. Had Mark Damon the lead on a horse and had him ride through this blackened landscape. Other times I used the ocean. I think the movement of the waves has a certain hypnotic effect. Maybe that's where we came from. Maybe the ocean has something within it. On the other hand, I followed this theory religiously all the way through and finally just got tired of my own theory. And on the last picture, The Tomb of Ligeia, I worked with Bob Town, a new writer who was a good friend of mine. And I said, Bob, we're throwing out all my theories. I shot the picture in England. We're going into the English countryside and we're going to shoot in broad daylight. The easy part and the most fun, as it were the climaxes. For instance, in The Pit and the Pendulum, if you want to go back to the Freudian symbols, the symbol of the pendulum moving back and forth and dropping down into the pit is a fairly obvious symbol of a phallus and a vagina. And it was fun to shoot those. I remember, as a matter of fact, John Carr was under the pendulum, and we had this big thing swinging from the ceiling at the top of the sound stage. And John said, Roger, are you sure that thing is safe? I said, I'll show you, John. I'll get under it. So I got under it, and the thing was supposed to come down lower and lower and lower. And I remember thinking, maybe this isn't such a good idea, but I didn't want to say that. But I did it, and John said, okay, Roger, if you can do it, I can do it. And we shot it.
Yes, to be in the presence of masters. Roger Corman and Vincent Price's 1960s collaboration, inhabiting the work of Edgar Allan Poe, the OG of evil, has left a mark certainly on this, your cosmic guide, Patrick Galactic. One of my Halloween traditions is watching as many of these movies in a week as I possibly can. If I were to give you my best recommendations, it would be to watch Mask of the Red Death, The Raven, and Pit and the Pendulum first. All are fantastically stylized, and though not truly scary to anyone in the contemporary age, the implications of horror and the Unkind One's deliciously campy performances elevate it to an even more sinisterly salacious height. But now that our evil has been hatched, it's time for a moment of respite. And what greater respite could there be than the delightfully, wickedly meditative energies of the one and only Tsubasa. Well, yes, now that the dulcet tones of the dogs of war have led us to this place, it is time to venture to the end of the first part of Halloween. But before we do that, this is a quick reminder that though this episode is nearing its end, the party isn't over. Join our Discord server and hop on the community voice chat channel after the show. As I said before, it is very similar to a post-show green room chat at a beautiful nightclub. Beautiful, evil nightclub, yes, yes. But what we do now is what we call an auto-write. And an auto-write is simply a tool to try and capture the unconscious mind in digital form. So what I will be doing is counting back from 10. I'll count back from 10. And as I do, you simply try to clear your mind, your evil little mind. You simply try to clear it. And when I get to 1, I will say go. When I say go, we will all proceed to tippity-type in lovely fashion. Whatever comes through our minds, whatever words come, you simply type them. You don't try to spell correct or edit them. You simply let it be what it is, because that is the unconscious mind. After about 30 or 45 seconds, I'll say stop. And when we stop, we hit enter or return on the keyboard. And all of the auto-writes will appear in the chat. I will read them out loud, and we will dance off howling into the night, into our devilish reveries. Yes, yes. So again, a brief synopsis of what I've just said. I'm going to count down from 10, and as I do, you try to clear your mind. When I get to 1, I will say go. You try to write whatever comes to your mind naturally. You don't have to spell check or edit. After about 30 or 45 seconds, I'll say stop. We hit enter or return. And then we all read the auto-writes. And then we watch this last amazing thing I have for you. And then we go off to the Discord or the darkness, whichever. But as long as it's devilish, that's all we need. Okay, so we now begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. Okay, let us hit enter or return. Allow your auto-write to be seen by the group, my lovelies, my devilish seedlings, my deadlies. All right, let us begin. I wrote, evil voice isn't natural, but it's fun. Vincent Price rules. I remember him hosting weird television horror specials, and he was always hosting something on Halloween. My intro to evil, shall we say? I enjoy the perspiration of an unkind walrus from time to time as well. Blazing Space, I don't have pants or a shirt on. Is this when appropriate? You're damn right. Lights off, Wi-Fi on, meow meow. Stardust wants to end the world one meow at a time. Until we give up the carbs. Where are the carbs, goddammit? If I don't get carbs, I'm going to kill all the humans, says Stardust. Not me at all. That's all the kitty. I swear, meow meow. See, officer, it's the cat, not me. Meow meow. Alex F&V. Go outside and see what the wind is telling you to do. If the ghost eye tree is there, I'm sorry to tell you that you're fucked. That thing is haunted. My left big toe is haunted. He told me they met the ghost of Christmas past once, and now it lives inside of it. And I must say, I am the better of bad news. I'm also down with the sickness. Ashmati, blowing glass after bass fishing with Wanda. Everywhere she goes, there she goes again by the laws is playing with the boys of summer. Summertime is overrated. So is bustin' a move unless you have groove in your heart. Featuring Ann and Nancy Wilson from Bellevue, Washington. Bicentennial baby. It's about as hard for me to write with my mouth full as it is for me to talk, which is a new thing I just learned. I don't think I actually enjoy writing. I just wanted to acknowledge that and see how it feels. Euphony of the month. Scurvy. Again! I knew I shouldn't have used that new shampoo. It smelled of purple. Even though I was warned, who could resist to take a whiff? R.I.P. Please. I truly feel for you, Euphony of the month. Madsy and the End Times. The poison was convincing me to exit the building, but it's sneaky like perfume, and I'm opinionated that the moon candy will be enough to sustain the winter. Naomi, Baomi, Faomi. The words come forth like earthworms in the soil of a freshly dug grave. Not the kind of grave you'd find in a cemetery, the kind of grave that's made in haste and sprinkled with tears. Sounds delicious. Darton the Third. The knights donned their armor and weapons, blessed by the priests, their wives dressed in black, knowing their loved ones would not come back. Yes. Demons were prowling the land again and needed to be stopped, did they? The holy JJ Ornament would ensure victory, if not their lives. They fought for 3 days and nights only, JJ keeping them going. JJ, Jesus's jizz. Thank you all for sharing your beautiful auto-write. Thank you all for sharing this little part of your unconscious mind. What a night! What a howling reverie of strange and strangely beautiful, yet detestable delight. Halloween Part 1. Halloween Part 1 was nothing short of disgustingly beautiful. All right. Now that we're at the end, I need to be real about something, okay? Today, I found out about the death of someone I truly care about at another very young death. My friend's name is Arsene. Arsene was the vocal engineer for my first EP, Running from the Sun, and we became friendly. We rehearsed in the same spot, so we saw each other a lot. We weren't the kind of friends that talked every day, but we were the kind of friends who ran into each other, stepped aside, and caught up for 30 minutes at a show or a social gathering or something similar. It's terribly sad and something that I wish with every part of myself wasn't true, but it is. I want to send my love to his young family, his parents, and all of his friends. He was loved by so many people. It only reinforces the need to embrace the present with our whole hearts, friends. This ride comes to sudden and irreversible stops. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. It's really not. The rules of Weird at Night: people first, time over money, art is the antidote, attack with love. These are all phrases meant to evoke the deeper meaning in our lives. Yes, we all have to hustle. Yes, we all have to survive. But living ain't worth much without love, without purpose. We don't always have to know what the purpose is in order to create it. Appreciate every minute you have. Don't take anything for granted, please. I got one little treat left for Halloween, and it's a good one, so don't take off just yet. I'm Patrick Galactic. We are Weird at Night, and I treasure every minute we're together. I will see you Saturday at 10 p.m. Pacific Time.
We have nothing in common.
Oh, sure we do. We love each other.
I want a divorce.
lifestyle has been very unorthodox. And I refuse to further subject 3 innocent children to your peculiar and potentially harmful behavior. It is the court's ruling to award sole custody to Mrs. Hiller.
Hello? Hello? I'm calling in regards to the ad I read in the paper.
Yes. Would you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Oh, certainly, dear.
I'm addicted to my children, sir. I love them with all my heart. And the idea of someone telling me I can't be with them, I can't see them every day, it's like someone saying I can't have air.
You guys got 911 now! You're my goddamn kid,
My close-up, Mr. DeMille.
You remind me of someone.
You're weird at night. So weird at night. Thanks for being so weird at night. For 100 nights. Weird at night.
Freed from the shackles of time and space, we present Weird at